Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Well, we want to welcome
Good morning, people. It is 9 o'clock on Saturday, and Mr. Harvey is sitting there in his easy chair, and we've been having our pre-broadcast here, and now it's time for you guys to come on and hear all the good things that we have to say. A lot of positive stuff going on out there. Mr. Harvey, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. Everything is great, man. But you sort of kind of knocked me off guard this morning, man. What you was talking about, man, because I've never even thought about what you were saying. I already voted, so I'm out the way. But man, you was talking some serious stuff, man. I don't see how you foresee that, but we'll see.
It's almost like I'm going back to 2007 when in Springfield, Illinois, around December, one of the coldest months and stuff up there in the northern states, when then Senator Obama came out and announced that he was going to run for the presidency. And I listened to his speech, and he started going around the country to all these colleges, huge colleges. He was in Ohio State. He was at down in Texas, University of Texas. He went to, huge stadiums and stuff. And he came down here to Georgia, and he did his grand speech and stuff down here on his college campus down here in Georgia Tech. And I happened to be going to church that morning. It was a Saturday morning. And I went to I was going to church and stuff to do my work, to get the bulletin out for the Sunday services and everything. And I remembered that Obama was going to be speaking here at Georgia Tech. So I got off Interstate 75 downtown and shot back around and couldn't find a parking spot. So I found a parking spot way on the other side of the interstate. And I walked across the 16th Street Bridge and stuff there that goes over the interstate there in downtown Atlanta. And I kept walking and walking and walking. Man, there was cars everywhere. People was walking and walking. And I just followed the people. And we finally got to the stadium. I walked into the stadium, and he had a table sitting there. And there was probably maybe 15 or 20 women, young girls and stuff at this table. And they had laptops, and they were asking people to come over. I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't even stop by. I just kept on going. But I found out later and stuff what they were doing. They were gathering in people's information and stuff so they can contact folks and stuff for his campaign, Obama's campaign. Went into the stadium, and he finally came out. But while I was there in that stadium, Ted, it started filling up. People was coming, man. There had to be at least 30, 40,000 people and stuff there in that daggone stadium area. And I looked around at white people, old white people, Hispanics, Black, college kids. I mean, from all ethnic groups came there. And when he showed up, he had bodyguards sitting there with him already, and they had to spread people out to make a way for him to get to the stage. He got onto that stage and stuff and everything. And he started talking and speaking and everything. And when he got done, and his usual banter, he come back down through the audience and stuff, and his people and stuff, his bodyguards and stuff, kept people off of him, but he always shook hands and stuff. And there were people, man, I mean, jumping over each other to hold this man's hand. I knew then that this man was going to win the presidency. When you have people, a person and stuff, who is capable of getting people's attention, and it gets so far that you become almost a rock star with, not just one racial group, but all of them, old people, young people, white, all that. He was able to transcend all that. Now we come up here. I'm looking at this election. I had no idea who Andrew Gillum was. No idea who he was. But he started out, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at what he's going through, what he's happening and stuff with him down in Florida, how he came up out of the pack and won the nomination for governor, Democratic governor there. I thought, oh man, he's all right. But then you hear things and stuff. People start talking. Clinton had told some of his high-priced folks, he said, there's a man down there who's the mayor of Tallahassee. Look out for him. Nobody saw him. Look out for him. So now people are starting to look at him. I've been watching him. He is very, very dynamic. He transcends folks. He is good with people of all color. And they all come to his, anywhere he goes and stuff, there are people coming there to listen to him talk. Jumping over each other to listen to him talk. Florida can't hold this man. Florida can't hold him. You listen to him when he talks. He is very, very, very well learned. He is, like most folks say, he's one of those black people and stuff that knows how to talk. But he is very good with what he does. He is very calm. And you watched him in his last two debates and stuff with DeSantis and everything, even though Ryan tried to come at him with all kind of stuff. The man stayed calm. He did what he had to do. Whenever he spoke and said something negative against him, he stayed right there calm. And you watched him and stuff. He would write his little notes and stuff about what the man was saying about him so he can come back at him. He didn't forget what this man was saying. Whenever he talks out there in public and everything, most of the commentators, they don't do a whole lot of talking. They listen to him. And he is, and he come to them with facts. And they tried to beat him up on Israel. And you know, the Jews have a lot of money out there, and they have a lot of power out there in the political area, arena. And they tried to beat him up on his Israel thing and Palestinians. And the man came forth and said, hey, they got problems on both sides. I don't care what they say. He said, I'm strong Israel, but Israel and Palestine need to be able to get together. And then there's never going to be peace in your region until people get together. And most people in Israel and stuff, and also in this country, sometimes you have to tell folks the truth, even though they may not want to hear it. He came out and said these things, and they look at him, but he can't, the Jews are not going to like him, but they okay with him because he's telling the truth. You cannot have peace in your region if both people are fighting each other and you are not listening to each other. Peace will never happen. That's something that Trump and stuff has not brought forth and everything through the region, that he's all Israel, whatever he want to do. He's moving their embassy and stuff all over. They're creating all kind of problems over there. Man, you're never going to have peace in that region and stuff, and it's going to cause Israel a whole lot of problems because of that. You have to deal with them people. But they brought this international thing to him, and he was able to respond and stuff to that and stuff very, very strongly and with conviction. And he was saying some things. The NRA, he talked about them. And most people, Ted, and you know that, they're not going to talk against the NRA at all. But he did. He said the NRA is bad. They need to stop this mess. We know and we're going to stop it. You know, he said, I went and I fought them because we didn't want guns in our park. And they have man, y'all got some kind of weird law, man, where if you talk against the National Rifle Association in Florida, they can sue you personally. I didn't know that. They got some powerful lobbyist folks down there in Florida, and he talked against them. So he's not afraid to open his mouth and say something. And he's got a lot of people who behind him. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. And you ain't got to worry about anything else. He said, my grandmother told me all the time, tell the truth. You ain't got to worry about other people telling any lies if you tell the truth. He said, that's me. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. You can't beat anybody like that, Ted. How you going to beat people like that? And like,
Oh, well,
and like I
telling the truth.
and like I said earlier, he's almost a Barack Obama clone. And I guarantee you, come 2020, Florida may not be able to hold him.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's kind of fast, but we'll see. I mean, I don't doubt nowadays. I don't doubt anything now. Anything can happen now because we living in the best of times and the worst of times. And just getting off the subject because like I like to follow the money.
I understand totally. I understand
And,
totally.
a couple of things that's been going on in the stock market, like it's going up, it's going down. I remember when we used to lose 400, 500, 300 points in the market. I mean, it was total chaos. Now you lose 500, 600. It's almost like, oh, it'll bounce back. And it bounced back yesterday. But here's the deal, man. It's so hard to, well, I'm not going to say hard because it's not really that hard because they've been scamming us, scamming American people for years, Wall Street. And your boy, what's his name? Elon Musk of Tesla. He's bragging, talking, telling everybody that he's going to do so many 20,000 cars a month and all that, and telling everybody this and all of that. So guess what's happening now with him? The FBI right now is investigating him because he's not doing what he said. At first, then he dropped it down from 20,000 to 5,000. Then he turned around. He only did 2,700 cars. Well, see, this is deceiving the people because you remember last show that we had said that his stock went up $36 a share. That's a lot of money. So right now they're investigating him because he's overstated his product figures. So we'll see. Another
No,
thing.
you're not talking about the FBI. You're talking about the uh,
No, the FBI is
why would
investigating him.
the FBI be investigating him? Because that's what they have another investigative arm with the New York Stock Exchange. Don't they have
Yeah,
an
SEC, the SEC, but the
the
point
SEC?
is, but I have no idea why the FBI is involved, but there's some reason why. I don't know. But the FBI is investigating this. So we'll see. And they want to look at all the numbers and everything. So another story that's out there is Hurricane Michael. The effects of that hurricane for Florida as far as voting. And the other thing is one of the main resources in that area in the southern for the uh, for these timber growers, trees. I mean, they have already lost over $1.6 billion. Uh, that's going to affect the economy in a great way. And we ain't even talking about all the jobs that's been lost in that area. The people, the homeless people that don't have homes there, a lot of them have left and moved with relatives and what have you. So that's a big deal, and especially we're talking in that region as far as voting power. Um, another story that has been really hot is Walmart. And I bet you didn't know this, that Walmart has almost 2,500 stores in Mexico. They have already settled a lawsuit for $160 million. But the reason why they did that, and they're saying that they didn't commit anything wrong or what have you, But they paid off. They did some bribery. They paid off a lot of these politicians and other people to get all of these stores in Mexico. And Walmart is one of the biggest employees in the world. So that right there is being investigated. But they probably just gonna get a slap on the wrist, and what have you, because they have to do business like they do business.
Well,
Microsoft.
let me stop you there. I'm gonna put this Microsoft thing down here, but let me say something about that Walmart thing and stuff. Ted. Yes, I did know about Walmart. I wrote an article and stuff on the blog and stuff about Walmart and that problem that they had down there. They have this $160 million that they spent and everything going to be a drop in the bucket. They committed some real bad stuff out there. And it's not only Mexico and stuff that's dealing with them. They got the international monetary court and everything. They also after them also for what they did down there. It was totally illegal what they did. And this is not the only thing that's going to be hitting them up. And they know exactly who did it because the person and stuff who was in charge down there, they've already fired him already. And they have 2 or 3 other executives and stuff who were down there in Mexico and stuff during this time and when all this stuff happened. And they got some serious problems. I'm telling you, I didn't believe that it was going to come forth through the court system this quick because I thought they still had some more fighting to do and everything. But this $160 million is just a drop in the bucket. But they're getting ready to be hit with a whole big. This lawsuit is huge. But go ahead, Microsoft. Go ahead.
Well, Microsoft just signed a almost $100 million contract with the Department of Defense doing technical support and consulting.
For what?
A lot of people, technical support, bro. I mean,
No,
like
the reason why I'm asking you for what and everything because there's different support and stuff is out there because Amazon is already about ready to get another huge, I think, $6 billion contract and stuff with the military.
Well, the thing is, right now, this has been the trend of these congressmen because a lot of these Microsofts, Amazon, Google was offered or tried to get a contract, but they changed their mind because of whatever reason, because they thought they was going to get too much, kickback or flashback or whatever, But the point is,
the reason why I was saying this $100 million is nothing, man. When you're talking about $7 billion, almost $10 billion and stuff contract that Amazon is probably going to be getting. And you're right, Google did. That's why I was actually,
Bezos don't care. That man, he already contributed $10 million to the Republicans.
Who?
Bezos. He don't care.
Who is that?
Bezos.
Bezos. It's not Bezos. His name is Bezos.
Well, whatever the hell is.
Now you said Bezos. Who the heck is Bezos? Bezos.
Whatever the hell his name is.
Ted, Bezos contributes money to a whole lot of people. He don't care who he contributes money to. He contributes to a whole lot of other people.
He don't care. That's what I said. He don't care.
So what's the big significance in Microsoft getting $100 million contract when that's a drop in a bucket for monies that it ain't no big deal there because there's a whole lot of companies out there making a lot more money than that off of them. But what about Blackstone and all the rest of them out there who get money?
But Microsoft is supposed to be a little bit more on the progressive side because of Bill Gates, and that's the big deal. Bezos, is that his name? Bezos. He's all about the money, and then and at the same time, that his prices are going to go up because the post office have already upping his prices, because you heard 45 say that he ain't paying no money. He getting all these breaks to deliver his packages.
Jeff Bezos, Ted, is so powerful that he is more powerful than Trump would ever become. And being a man of that much power that you can control a whole lot of stuff, what the post office says and what they do and everything is just a drop in the bucket compared to what they can probably make. Because you already know that Amazon is already committed to that $15 an hour pay increase for their people, which Trump didn't like. And he's doing that stuff because of Trump. You know that he's snipping at his heels and letting him know, you don't tell me what to do, fella. Get back. You president, but I'm stronger than you are.
Yeah, and just like he threw in that $2 billion for a nonprofit.
Absolutely.
When your boy Sanders started hollering at him.
And that ain't nothing to him. When you make $2 billion, Ted, in 1 month or less than a month, he made that money back, you know, right after he said it. He already made it back. He made it back, man, and less than, as soon as he opened his mouth and said, okay, I'm gonna give $2 billion. By the time that money got into their hands, he done already made that back and more. He don't care.
Don't care one bit.
He don't care one bit. I ain't dropping the bucket to him. But go ahead.
Another thing is, now this right here has to be doing this story here to me is amazing because this woman signed a $69 million contract. I'm talking about Megyn Kelly.
I know who you talking about. I know when you said $69 million. I knew who that was.
This woman, you know, she flat out said that she's not a PC person, political correct. And there was a bit flack about what she said about blackface, whiteface, and all that stuff. And so, you know, the two people that had that show was, I'm trying to think of the lady's name, Tamara, I think her name.
Cameron Hall and the newsman, yeah.
Al Roker,
yeah.
Yeah, and Al Roker, man, he lit into her about that.
That's because that's because they threw him off at the 9 o'clock hour and stuff because of her.
Yeah, and so he kept his job and stayed on.
Well,
and Cameron left.
Cameron left and everything because she was pissed off and said she ain't taking that mess. Plus, she's probably making more money now than she was then at the 9 o'clock hour. She got a lot of syndicated programs going on. So go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yes, she got a lot of syndicated programs going on. She's syndicating herself.
Okay. Well, those are my top stories, bro. And to me, when you look at it, that Megyn Kelly story, to me, that was all about money, and they was trying to figuring they could capitalize because she was so hot on Fox News, but they found out that she has no decorum, I guess you would say. She don't have any class. You know, she might be attractive and all of that, and she has a law degree.
She ain't very attractive to me. I'm looking at that. You know, she ain't ugly. She ain't ugly, but she ain't that attractive. But
well, I mean, you know,
I think Ted, if you actually look at this thing with this NBC contract that she got at the NBC is trying to get that Fox money from those conservatives. And this was their move to take NBC into a more conservative vein. And they're trying to get, they trying to get into that conservative vein and stuff and not go all the way. But to get into that conservative vein, what they did was that they brought her in because they wanted to get those conservatives to come in. And, you know, they had some new executives. I'm trying to think of this guy's name who was the president, who was the one responsible for bringing her in. And now he's responsible for throwing her out because he see that investment, that $69 million investment they made in bringing her over ain't bringing forth no
The ratings are down.
no big profits and everything, because as soon as she came in there, you're right, them ratings went way down. And they was hoping that she can get them things back up and everything, but she didn't care, because when you on Fox and stuff, your mentality is not getting the ratings up because your ratings is already there. They ain't never going nowhere because you're a conservative. As long as you're a conservative and you talking crazy, your rating gonna always stay up there on Fox. But you can't do that on NBC and CBS and ABC. You have to worry about ratings and stuff. Ratings need to be at the top of your list when you started coming on to a network. And I don't think the NBC and stuff really realize that. Now that this thing has happened with this blackface thing, all it did was just gave this man, who's the president of NBC, an excuse to get her out of there, because they were ready to move her out of there anyway. Because, well, like you said, when them ratings that fell down, and she wasn't concerned with bringing them back up, they already were sitting there thinking, how am I going to get rid of this woman, because we done made a mistake. And when this blackface thing came along, they gave them an excuse to get her out of there. So,
and a couple of the major agencies, CAA, and she was trying to transfer agencies, and CAA found out about it, and they fired her or just got rid of their contract with her because of certain things that she said and done. And now the other agency, I think it was BTC or something. These are major agencies. You know, there's only about 10 major agencies that's out there that's really employing people, you know, all the major stars. And she's on one of those. CAA is one of the bigger ones. And so now she's without a major agency. So, I mean, I don't think she's going to be hurting for nothing. I mean, she's going to come back some kind of way.
She walked away, man, with a
Bunch
nice little buck, nice little buck. She may not got all the money, but she walked away with a nice little buck, and they ain't talking about it because they know that they gave her some money to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that part of that thing and everything was where she took that she couldn't come back, a non-disclosure agreement. She couldn't come back and sue them for anything and stuff as long as she got that little money. So she did have her attorneys and stuff who came from Los Angeles over to New York to sit down and negotiate her leaving NBC morning news and stuff and everything. So she got a nice little buck and stuff out of that, but she's already burned her bridges and stuff there with Fox and stuff. But I believe that eventually Fox probably gonna bring her back on again because she was sort of popular and stuff there with Fox and stuff. They may beat her down a little bit and don't give her as much money and say, hey, you can come on back on us, at part-time or whatever. But she's a white woman, she's gonna come back. You ain't gotta worry about that. Now
That's it. You said the white word.
Yeah, she's a white woman. She's gonna come back. It ain't gonna hurt her. She ain't gonna be hurt. Not too bad anyway. Now, you talked about Hurricane Michael and the devastation that it did to that Panhandle area and stuff there of Florida and what's going on there. Well, your soon-to-be governor and stuff down there, he spoke about that hurricane and that it came through there and that he is sending some of his people and stuff out of Tallahassee to help those folks and stuff out there who are in those outlying areas and stuff to get their power back and to do whatever they could and stuff to help out their friends and stuff and neighbors and stuff around them and the problem that they're having down there. But I think that there's if you look at that thing and stuff, Ted, there's a heck of a bigger financial problem and stuff that's sitting out there that nobody's looking at, and that's in that Midwest.
Ooh, why you say that?
And farmers.
Really?
Yep.
On what crop? What are you talking about? Like soybeans?
Soybean, corn, hogs, all that. Them folks is hurting. You talking about a couple of $1 billion down there in Florida. These people got a tendency, man, of losing upwards to $100 billion and stuff there in the Midwest or more. And
why?
Some of them, when Trump put the tariff there against China, China retaliated and stuff at the heartland of this country. Soybeans and hogs and corn. And right now, this is October. You and I both are from the Midwest, and you know, and I know both that this is the time when those farmers in the Midwest, they are either done with their harvesting or they're finishing up on their harvesting of their soybeans and their corn and stuff and getting it out of the fields. Because if they don't get it out of the fields and stuff, it's going to get wet and it's going to get damp and it's going to sour and they can't do anything and stuff. They're going to lose money.
Yep.
Right now, because of that tariff and stuff and everything, the farmers and stuff there in that Midwest, as they're talking about Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, parts of Missouri, and some parts of Tennessee and stuff that are losing huge sums of money and stuff and everything because their soybean prices and stuff and everything had dropped down almost $2 a bushel.
That's a lot
because of that. That's a lot of money. And they're sitting there and stuff now. And Trump already tried to give them something like $6 billion and stuff and everything to help them through. That's just pennies, nickels, and dimes to them, Ted, because you're talking about these farmers losing over $100 billion. It is going to devastate the Midwest. Devastate them. Because when you bring in that stuff in, your crops and stuff in, you got to put their stuff in these granaries. And them granaries are full. They can't take no more stuff. And they have no way of getting their stuff out because the Chinese and stuff are not buying their soybeans. They can't sell it overseas. What's going on now that these people are afraid of, yes, Trump gave them this money, but they're afraid now that you've got other countries and stuff in the world, like Brazil, for one of them. They are a huge producer of soybean. The Chinese are going to start going to them, and they're going to get a market and stuff there with Brazil to sell them their soybean. They're going to get a market with them to sell, so they can be able to sell their hogs and everything and stuff to them. Once that happens, your Midwest farmers and stuff and everything won't have any place to sell their products and everything and stuff to. And what they're going to do, nobody knows. And most of them farmers and stuff now, Ted, they are scared to death as to they're going to lose their whole industry and stuff out there because of what the heck Trump did and stuff with this tariff thing. And Trump has not.
You know what that means? Pricing.
Absolutely. But the prices and stuff, Ted, for us, as far as any products that deal with soybean, is going to be lower because the prices of soybean are going down. So if they're trying to sell this stuff to the people here in the U.S., it's going to be going down. They're going to have boatloads of feed for chickens and whoever else uses the dough want to eat them soybeans up. They can't sell them any place else but right here. So the price is going to go down. Everything's going to go down. We're going to have a windfall because of that. Some of these things and stuff now are going to, like the hogs and stuff like that, they're going to give them, they're buying up some of that stuff and everything, and they're giving it to these food places and stuff and everything that people have for food. Now, you remember back in the early 60s and stuff and everything where we had food stamps and all the other stuff going on. They used to have, you give people and stuff and everything, these food supplements. They gave them corn, all this other stuff and everything, cornmeal, flour, whatever it was, and all that stuff on it had on it USDA. Everything you ate said USDA on it because you were there. So we're going back to that part and everything to where they're going to be selling this stuff to these food sources and stuff and everything, and they're going to have a lot of food and stuff sitting there waiting on people. But the ones who are going to really suffer is those farmers and stuff in the Midwest. They are some of them people instead are looking down the barrel of bankruptcy, and they ain't very happy.
Let's look at a little bit of history of that, because for years and years, a lot of these people have been getting subsidies for not even farming. I'm talking about millions and millions and billions of dollars. And these farmers been living really high off the hog. and just if you think about a lot of these farmers been getting all kinds of money not to farm their land that a lot of them inherited, from generation to generation. Some of them has been taken or was not allowed to be given to certain people back in the 20s and 30s, and so now, if you think about it, it might be karma, bro. It might be
I
karma. And the
did.
thing is, let me just say this though. I'm just yeah, me. I'm thinking out of left field and right field and overfield. I'm telling you, this stuff might be karma, bro. Because now the thing is that a lot of times, they have been playing these games to manipulate the pricing of certain things. And when they manipulate these prices to sell overseas, or even they used to manipulate the prices for even here in this country. So now, and they say, okay, we're not going to let you farm because then, you can't do these soybeans, but we're going to pay you so much not to farm. So now, these farmers, they get the best equipment. They're able to get loans. And I'm talking about now, a lot of times what they try to do is the big corporate farmers want to really wipe out the small farmers. Now, the small farmers, believe it or not, they have 2,000 acres. A lot of these small farmers got 2,000 acres, but these corporate, they got hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland. So a small farmer, 2,000 acres, you say, oh man, that's a lot of acres. But that's a small farmer. 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, so and so a lot of them,
Sometimes
you're gonna watch a lot of merging. You're gonna see like these corporate farmers go in
Ted.
there and they're gonna wipe them out
Hold,
and they're gonna
hold,
buy them up.
whoa. Now, what you're saying and stuff, in theory, is probably correct. But if you look at what's going on and all of these corporations and stuff who are out there buying up these farmers and he's getting these farmlands and stuff, they're not owned by people here in this country. They're owned by people in outside this country. They have this Smithfield, who is a big hog farming conglomerate and stuff and everything that is looking to score on that $6 or $7 billion that Trump is giving to these farmers. Smithfield is wholly owned by China. So they're the ones who are coming in here now and going to be taking this money and moving this money outside this country. So yes, you're right. It's going to hurt these farmers, but what's going to happen in the alternative and stuff and everything that you're going to find out that a lot of these conglomerates and stuff out there are wholly owned and stuff by foreigners, foreign companies. And they're the
Well,
ones who are going to be taking that money and stuff outside this country.
well,
And that's something that we cannot afford and stuff to happen to them being subsidized and stuff and everything, and then being able to put that money back out there into these Chinese and stuff. And they're already getting enough now with our national debt. So sometimes, the bad things that you going to happen, yes, they true that they're going up. These farmers are going to lose. These conglomerates are going to buy them up. But who owns these conglomerates? They're being owned, wholly owned and stuff by foreigners.
well,
So
here's the thing, Ed. You got to look at it like this. There's other ways that people are surviving or attempting to survive or, sustain themselves. You say, what is the big movement right now? And a lot of this stuff is speculation. I admit, and it's just my opinion. But right now, what is the big movement now? Natural foods. Right now, the small farmer, I'm talking about with less than 50 acres of land, can feed a whole community, can feed a whole community with natural food. I'm talking about without pesticides and all that. That's the big movement, because right now, you know, when you have all these, what they call it, GMO or whatever they call that stuff, um, they putting all kind of crap into these vegetables and fruits and what have you. And so the big push right now is natural food, things that are grown naturally without pesticides, without all this fertilizer crap and everything else. So so when you look at it, these things are sort of kind of eating up each other, but at the same time, people want to be more healthier because you know, all this canned food, you know, it's not good for you. Eating out of a can is not good for you. Buying canned foods is not good for you. That's why Publix, that's why all of these grocery stores, everywhere you see now in every grocery store has natural foods. They have things that has been grown naturally. You go into the meat market, natural chicken and natural this and all of that. So so the thing is, there's a big war that's going on with the food chain right now. And
The
and
point and stuff is, Ted, is that you're right that there are some sort of pushing stuff toward organic foods and everything, but the prices for organic foods are too high, man. People who really need to have this food and everything can't afford to buy it.
I know it's like,
Our people can't afford to
have you
buy
ever,
it.
if you go to Walmart, I can get me a three, you know, they a bunch of beets for $2.38. But if I go to a natural store, you know, it's gonna cost me almost $5 or $6. It costs me two or three
Absolutely.
dollars
So,
extra.
so our people cannot afford to do that. When you only making $7 an hour, Ted, how can you afford to go and pay $5 for some beats?
Well,
That's not economically possible for them to do it. And we're talking about our folks. We're talking about the people in our community. They
well,
can't
this
afford
is
to
what
buy
I'm
that.
saying. This is what I'm saying, Ed. What I'm saying is there are people in, I'm talking about Hillsborough County. I don't know about no other counties, but there are a number of natural farms, you know, organic, natural, growing food. Now they're making a killing right now because you know they can only, you know, like they have to sustain themselves as far as, you know, paying for the cost of that, you know. But the point is that there are a lot of small farmers that are doing just that, and you don't need a whole lot of acres to grow a lot of food where you can feed a community or you can market that. Then you know here in Hillsborough County, there are so many uh, uh, what they call markets, um, food markets. That's on Sunday mornings and afternoons and Saturdays. You can go around and get all the fruits and vegetables that are basically, you know, from these small farmers. And then you have these small farmers that are they even open up the doors where you can do your own picking and what have you. You can pick your own vegetables and your own fruits and what have you, strawberries, all of that. So oranges, all of that. So the point is that we are changing our diets. A lot of people. And when you say our community, man, that's how we were raised, Ed. Man, my
Ted,
mother had a garden, bro,
Ted,
and I had to work that garden every day.
those gardens in our community does not exist anymore.
That's what I'm
So
saying. We
you
got to
have
get
to be
back.
realistic about this whole thing and stuff and everything, and realize that those gardens and stuff are not there anymore. Those people and stuff and everything who got these little small farmers, it's all good and well and everything that they got them and stuff and everything, but they're not within our community where we can go around because I don't. You remember, Ted, that when the farmers and stuff brought their food and stuff when we were little and growing up, they brought them wagons and stuff where right into our community. They drove them things right down the middle of the daggone street,
That's
hauling
right.
watermelons, peanuts, whatever they had in
Cantaloupe.
our community. They don't do that anymore. They take that stuff and they put it out there in those outlying areas and stuff where you're talking about, where the white folks is at, who got money that they can sell their products and stuff, but they're not bringing it into our community. That's my point. It's all well and good that you're talking
Well,
about. Yes,
that
yes, that is right, that we need to start getting organic foods and all that other stuff. But if it's not available and stuff to us because it's outside of our realm of our reach, then it's not doing us any good. So what can we do to to be
well,
able to
here's
have to capitalize and stuff on these farmers and stuff and everything now who are losing huge sums of money and stuff and everything in this soybean industry. Look at the
well,
soybeans and stuff and what's going on and stuff with them. What do they do with those soybeans? They're taking them soybeans and they make all kinds of products and stuff and everything from those soybeans. They make your margarine. They make all kinds of stuff. We used to make vitamin E out of it, out of soybeans and stuff and everything. Make steroids and stuff with it and all that. So we need to figure out and stuff a way that we can capitalize and be able to take that lower price and stuff of those soybeans and stuff and everything and follow it and find our way of going to and start investing and stuff and trying to get ourselves and stuff into this market and stuff where they got soybeans at. Go up there and get on that mercantile exchange up there and everything and start buying these futures and stuff or whatever. That's going to put money and stuff in our pockets.
well,
So
that's one way, Ed, but you
yeah,
know, the
but
big
you want that money so you can be able to go out there, Ted, and buy organic foods. So you be able
well,
to
the
enrich
point is
yourself.
right now the big movement right now, and it's been around for quite a while, is that all of these, what they call, you know, what is it, regeneration or I forget the name of the term, but they're knocking down all these old houses or people that left the houses and they're empty, and then they got these empty lots. Some people are coming in buying them up and then they build on them. But some of these empty lots should be bought by the community, and then they should have food. They should grow natural foods in those communities. You living in the city, and you can't go out to the country to buy fresh vegetables and fruits. So you need to start growing and starting farming. And there's a lot of people that's doing that right now. And I think that's what people should be aware of. You might say, because if you go into certain communities, you might have to go 3 or 4 blocks before you even get to a grocery store, or 5 or 6 blocks, a mile, catch the bus to go to the grocery store. So it's a big movement, and that's what we can do as far as looking at when you got different neighborhoods and communities that what they call desert food. There's no available grocery stores or fruits and vegetables and what have you. You got to go way to Walmart, and it might be 3 miles or 5 miles away from your house. So that's why I see it. And the way they built the communities now, everything is what they call is developments. They got 200 houses in a small development, and you can't really do anything. You can't grow any garden in the backyard. You can't have any chickens. You can't have this. You can't have that. So nowadays it's almost impossible for anybody to have fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay, Mr. Harvey, we went down your extensive list of things that you want to talk about, and we did do a little talk about it. But I had, other than this uh, thing that I had, my little spiel I gave about Andrew Gillum down there in Florida. There's another point and stuff that I wanted to make and stuff, and that's going to be a big thing and stuff with what's going on and stuff now, and how the Republicans and stuff are dealing with their um, dealing with how they're going to stay in power. And one of their ways of staying in power, and that we know of, is that after the 2010 election, they garnered a whole lot of local elections and state elections, and they have the majority of our governors and stuff in this are Republicans. And they've used that power and stuff and everything to do one thing, and that is to disenfranchise voters, put up roadblocks so people can't vote.
Big time.
Big time. And they've done it and stuff all over the country in different areas. You look at North Dakota where they took the Indians and stuff up there and they disenfranchising them. So
that's horrible what they did.
So Miss Letty up there can't win and stuff. They taking him. She only won her election and stuff the last time in North Dakota and stuff by what, 3,000 votes and everything.
3,000 votes. And they didn't try to take away what, almost 10,000 votes?
Yeah, that's the whole community of Indians and stuff they're taking away. You look in Kansas and stuff and everything, and they got the Indian community and the Hispanic community there in Dodge City down there in Kansas, where they got 13 or 14,000 people of Hispanic and Indian descent who only had one voting place, and they put the voting place outside of town so they couldn't get to it. And you can go down the list, man. And people
in your state is just a with bonkers. Georgia that with bonkers.
People
Texas,
of color.
Texas. Yeah, they stopped a whole school, a whole university from voting.
Absolutely, and it's sickening and it's horrifying to know that in this country and stuff where we want people, we should want people to vote.
You're a United States citizen, and that's all that matters, and you should go in there and vote. This is ridiculous. As long as you're on the rolls.
You look in you look down in Florida and stuff and everything where they got 1 point some billion million
1.5 bro
million black men and stuff who have been in prison and stuff because they have a felony.
They ain't all black. They ain't all black. They white too.
But the majority of them are people of color.
Yeah,
people of color, black and brown. The majority of them, the huge majority of them are people of color. They can't vote. They disenfranchise them. You have North Carolina and stuff and everything where they got huge areas and stuff and everything where they done been to their state Supreme Court that then struck down their voting restrictions and everything. And they turn around and they restrict some more voters and they restrict them again. So it's a constant fight and stuff going on all over this country. You got Georgia and stuff down there. You got a Secretary of State who's running for a governor and everything, and he's doing everything he can and stuff to disenfranchise people and take them off the rolls. If you haven't voted in the last 2 election cycles, they take your name off.
Well,
don't tell you.
Let me ask you this. You're a very astute political observer. And the one thing, what does all of this tell you? Doesn't this tell you that when you think about it, it must mean something very important if you vote and your person gets in, because those are the people that's going to make decisions, major decisions in your life. Those are the people that's going to be any money that comes in statewide, federally, locally, they have control of that money. And we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars, because the state has their own budget. They get some money from the federal, but they get a lot of that money that's coming in from other things, fines, fees, all of that. And they have control of all of that money and where it's going to be spent, who's going to get the benefit of that. It is so important because, as you always say, and I hear you say, and I hear other people say, politics is local.
Absolutely. What is going on, Ted, is that this country and stuff is moving from a majority white to a majority minority, which means that the minorities and stuff in this country are going to outnumber the supposed majority and stuff, white folks and stuff in this country, Caucasian people. So they are trying to be able to control those votes. Eventually and stuff, Ted, they know that they're not going to be able to continue to win this argument. But they're putting up so many roadblocks and stuff out there that it is creating problems and stuff for people of color to get out and vote. And that's one thing that you were talking about there, that it shows you the power and stuff of that, of the vote and stuff they have, that these people are fighting so hard to stop you from voting, that there's got to be a reason and stuff why they're doing that, and it's because of the power and the money that is out there that politics controls. So we need to let our folks know that, but we also have to be able to understand that once this happens and we start getting those votes and we start doing what needs to be done, that we need to be aware that governing, once you become in power, that governing has its own problems and stuff that you're going to have to deal with. And I remember when Obama got to be the president of the United States, and everybody thought, hey, man, I don't have to do anything. That's why 2010 happened. We don't have to do nothing. We got a black president. Well, the president only has so much power. And if you don't realize where the power and stuff lies, you still, because you put somebody in office there, you still going to have to fight, and you still going to have to get out there and vote, and you still going to have to become involved in politics if you want to stay in power. And you just can't stop voting. We always say to our people and stuff, this is the most important election that there is. And you hear Barack Obama, who's out there, our president, who's out there now on the campaign trail. No other president, past president, ever done that, went out on the campaign trail. You didn't see Bush going out there or whatever out there. You know, Clinton came out there and went on the campaign trail, but he was a Democrat. But none of the Republicans ever, once they got out of office, they never went out on the campaign trail in politics. They sat back and enjoyed themselves because the Republicans were still in power. Well, we have to get out there and follow through. We see what our president has done. He didn't win. He didn't did his 8 years, but he's still back out there on the campaign trail, telling our people and stuff that we need to get out there and vote. It is very, 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 very important for us to do that. So, and I go back to what I was just saying. Governing has its own responsibility. We're going to beat this voter suppression stuff, kid. I believe that eventually we're going to beat this voter suppression stuff down. It's just a matter of time when it happens. But when it does happen, what are we going to continue to do out there to stay engaged, to stay involved, and to do what's needed to be done and stuff? And once you gain the power and stuff, that you're going to do something and stuff that's going to be able to help your people and going to be able to keep that power and stuff in your hands.
Let me let you analyze this though. I just saw a statistic as far as enthusiasm went from 47 to 71% of Latinos willing to vote now. So, and when you look at the potential voters, that's going to be one of the major majority voters. It's going to be Latinos. We are only 14, maybe 15% of the population. And we got them over probably 4 million or even more. They can't even vote. That's not even counting the ones that don't vote. The highest in our community, in the black community of high voters, are black women. 97% of them vote. When I walked into the polls, bro, there was a half a dozen black women, more than that was in the polls, working for the polls. I ain't see no black man. I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is that obviously, and I'm not putting nothing on black males or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, we just got to get more engaged and more, and we're going to have to work with the Latinos because they're going to be a big powerhouse, bro. Once they get educated, and a lot of them, you know, they only been here for 20, 30 years, and they got children that's coming up, they're getting educated. So it's going to have to be a solidarity there, as well as they're going to be fighting for power too, because that you know, they feel they're unrepresented, just like we feel like we're unrepresented. So that right there is going to be an issue right there alone.
Well, Theodore, you brought up a very, very important point and stuff there, but let's look at it in another way. Say, uh, yes, the Hispanics and stuff are going to be up there, and we need to align with them. But what if the other uh, theory and stuff comes forth that the majority, who is now becoming the minority, decide I'm going to align myself with the black folks, and you push the Hispanics out? Possibility. So I threw that out there. I threw that out there, Ted, because here in Georgia, and you were saying that down there in Florida, that the the people who are in majority, the Caucasians and stuff and everything, have slowly aligned themselves with Andrew. You're going to see that here in Georgia, that there are a lot of white people up here in Georgia and stuff, Ted, who are voting for um, Stacey Abrams. A lot of them voting for her. So you see that dynamic and stuff that may happen and stuff there and everything, that some of these white folks say, well, we know that they're going to be getting in there, so we're going to start aligning ourselves with them. So the black folks and the white folks start coming together and lining themselves up together and stuff, and keeping the Hispanics and stuff out. There's a possibility that may happen. There could be something down the road that we need to look at and stuff. Where do we want to do that? Or the thing might happen that the Hispanics might do the same thing, align themselves, which probably may not happen, because most of your white folks and stuff hate immigration. They don't want the Hispanics and stuff here in this country anyway, so they're going to fight tooth and nail against that. So just look at that dynamic and stuff there. It can be it can go the other way around also.
Well, you got to look at right now, look at their caucus, look at their dynamics as far as their demographics, because they're not monolithic, just like black people ain't monolithic. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, because you got your Cubans, you got your all different types of nationalities, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Mexicans, and so they have unified to a certain degree, because I'll never forget. And I don't remember what year that was. It could have been 08, 09, 10, whatever. I remember, man, they flooded the whole country with Latinos. They marched all over the country, millions and millions of them. I don't know how they did it that day, but they did it that day. They didn't go to work. They didn't do nothing. They was out in the street protesting. And they even did stories on them. Well, Carlos didn't show up today, and he's our chef. You know what I'm saying? So we had to close down. They made a point. They showed them. Mary didn't show up. Mary Ann didn't show up, and and Luann didn't show up, and Maria didn't show up. They're our maids at the hotel.
Right. And they showed their power. The same thing happened in Las Vegas and stuff and everything. A lot of their people, they went on strike and everything there, and they had they finally won. The service industry and stuff there had a big strike there, and they told them, and they shut them hotels and stuff down because they couldn't keep them going, because most of the people who worked there in those service jobs and stuff were Hispanic people, men and women.
But I'm not. I'm not trying to discuss division. I'm trying to discuss solidarity. And the thing is that majority of people are good people. I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, even Caucasian people are good people, and they want to live their lives, and they want to be treated with equality. and they want to get, and and this country has to be more diversified and not be so as though like stereotypical treating black and brown people stereotypically, like oh, you can only do this or you can only do that, and they're not promoting people, they're not giving them raises and what have you, and they're not doing the things or training them in the certain positions that they qualify for, and not giving the opportunity. And that right now, that is the issue right now that's going on in this country, because, and we might as well face it, the white woman has been the new minority in this country for 30 years. They the ones that's making the $400,000-$500,000 jobs. Not the black man, not the black woman. It's a few of us up there making that kind of money, but very few. But it's a lot of white women got those good plush jobs.
Well,
And
Mr.
I'm not
Harvey,
trying to bring, I'm
well,
just
Mr.
saying that's what it
Harvey,
is.
I know you've enjoyed yourself very well, but we are over our time allotment, man. We didn't went well, but now you really want to talk some more, man. But we passed that hour mark there and everything, so we want to tell our audience the stuff that we getting ready to sign off, and hope you guys come back and listen to some more interesting video podcasting that we have going on here on Saturday morning and Wednesday evening. And also we have recorded versions and stuff out there. And like I said the last time, when it reaches 100 videos out there, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have a celebration. And we're at 96 now. So we sometime in November, we're going to reach that century mark of videos out there that people can go and look at. So I'm hoping that some of you Facebook people out there who look at TED TV channel and you see our videos and stuff on there, that there's a lot more of them sitting out there that you guys can listen to. All you got to do is subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and you'll be able to see, man, there's so many videos out there that talks about so many subjects and stuff that we've been having going on this year and the end of last year. So we already are past our 1 year anniversary, Ted. Oh, yeah. We've been doing this for over a year. So we hope that there are people out there who are listening to us. I see that most of our Facebook people who listen to our videos are from outside this country. So I'm hoping that eventually we'll start.
Well, see, one thing you don't know, man, is a lot of people listen to us, they just don't subscribe. And they listen to us and what have you, it might not even, you might even know that they are on.
Yeah, oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. I don't know if they view it. There's a little segment, an icon out there that if you come on and look, even if you only look at it for like 10 minutes, it's going to show how many views that we have had on our videos.
Well, if the people that watch us, if they like us, tell a friend, or go ahead on and just send it and share it. Because, just share it. I mean, a lot of things we say is just basically our opinion, but we do give a lot of facts. And, but, if it's our opinion, it's our opinion, just like everyone else. We all have opinions, and we all have things that how we feel greatly about and emotionally about. So that's the one thing that, but we want to be civil about it. And, we don't want to be mean spirited. But sometimes a lot of stuff, man, can make you mean spirited because there's so many unrighteousness that's going on out there, man. I try to bind the devil every day about this crap, man. But it's in God's hands now. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking down the barrel of some positive things and stuff, Ted. I haven't given up, and like you said, it's just in God's hands, and we have to trust Him that things are going to work out. And we may look back at the 2016 election and say, man, that was a wake-up call for us, that we need to get involved, that we need to get out there and vote, because we see now that there are a lot of candidates out there, a lot of women candidates out there who are running for election, trying to get themselves into office so they can be able to do some things. Whereas if 2016 had not have happened, they may not have came out and did what they're doing now.
Correct.
Talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I give you more emotions. All you gotta do is focus, not what you used to, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out there looking for you. Just something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster.